Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Safira Qurotul Aini, and today I will present to you all about Longinus, Dante Alighieri, and Henry James. So the first one we have Longinus. Longinus garners an important place in literary history for his treatise on the Sublime. Longinus often peppers his Greek and Latin writings with Hebrew quotations, making him the first literary critic to borrow from a different literary tradition and earning him the right to be called the first comparative critic in literary history. Unlike Plato, Aristotle, and Horace, who respectively focus on a work's essence, the constituent parts of a work, and literary taste, Longinus concentrates on single elements of a text, and he is the first critic to define a literary classic. He argues that one cannot accurately judge a literary work unless one is exceedingly well read. A well read critic can evaluate and recognize what is great or what Homer calls sublime. Um, and nature has appointed us men to be no base or ignorable animals, for she implants in our souls to unconquerable love of whatever is elevated and more divine than we. So when our intellects, our emotions, and our will harmoniously um, respond to a given work of art, we know we have been touched by the sublime. And the next one we have Dante Alighieri. Dante is the only significant contributor to literary criticisms since Longinus and the appearance of his On the Sublime approximately uh, 1000 years earlier. Uh, like Longinus, Dante is concerned with the proper language for poetry. Dante wrote a letter to Can Grande della Scala explaining his literary theory, known today as Letter to Can Grande della Scala. This work argues that the language spoken by the people, the vulgar tongue or the vernacular, is an appropriate and beautiful language for writing. Um, Dante also notes that he utilizes multiple levels of interpretation or symbolic meaning in the Divine Comedy. Um, Praising the lyric poem and simply ignoring a discussion of genres, Dante established himself as the leading, if not the only, significant critic of the Middle Ages. The church fathers had followed a tradition of allegoric reading of scripture that interpreted many of the Old Testament laws and stories as symbolic or as allegories of Christ's actions. And the last one we have Henry James. As Henry James notes in his critical critical essay, The Art of Fiction, the English novel had no air of having a theory, conviction, consciousness of itself behind it, of being the expression of an artistic faith, the result of choice and comparison. James himself provides us with such a theory. He, his favorite theme is the conflict he perceives between Europe and America. The seasoned aristocracy, with its refined manners and taste, is often infiltrated in his stories by the naive American, who seemingly lacks refined culture and discernment. In his critical essay, The Art of Fiction, he provides us with the first well-articulated theory of the novel in English literature. Um, for James, a text must first be realistic, a representation of life as it is, and one that is recognizable for its readers. Bad novels, he declared that either romantic or scientific. Good novel shows us life in action and above all else are interesting. He also continues that bad novels are written by bad authors, whereas good novels are written by good authors. Unlike weak authors, good writers are good thinkers who can select, evaluate, and imaginatively utilize the stuff of life. And he said that the writer must acknowledge this fact and distance themselves from directly telling the story. James asserts that a more indirect point of view is essential so that the author shows characters in action and emotions to the reader rather than telling us about them. And that's all from me. Thank you.